So in this video, I'm going to be unboxing my silver play button, but I'm going to share some honest facts about why I'm sort of elated for this, but not, how I got to this stage, and what the future of the channel will be. Let's get started. Doing the Knowledge of London was the hardest thing I've ever done. And when I got my badge in 2017, I was kind of upset that this hard graft, this achievement, this endless pursuit of knowing London kind of came to an end, and I'll just become another cab driver. Not to disown cab drivers, like I revered, and I still do revere cab drivers as godlike status. You know, they've all gone through the knowledge, and that's what I wanted to do on this channel. I wanted to share, promote, and elevate cab drivers for people to come into the trade or to get more passengers in the passenger seat. So I started out with relatively easy videos sharing my process of how I got into the knowledge, how to study it, and the reality of actually being a cab driver. When it suddenly dawned on me that maybe I should share what I'm actually doing in the taxi, i.e. point of view shift videos. And that's what I went with. So the eager media graduate that I was, I strapped a few GoPros to my cab, I got myself a nice microphone, and I started filming my shift videos. Growth was good, I got some sponsorships, and all the numbers and metrics were going up. This is surely what you'd want from a YouTube channel. Until I got a very condemning letter mid-2021. And that nearly was the end of my YouTube channel entirely. So I received an ambiguous letter from TfL basically saying that my conditions of fitness of a driver were being called into question because of my YouTube practices. This letter was kind of just generic, kind of saying, look, is this TfL approved dash camera? Have you got an ICO license? Have you got permissions to be doing this? Etc. All reasonable causes for concern. Basically, from that letter, my livelihood was at stake. Was it really worth me uploading videos to YouTube just to get some views and maybe a little bit of income from sponsorships and YouTube that could potentially make me lose my job that it all centers around in the first place? So I had to pull a lot of videos. At that point, I was considering jacking in YouTube entirely. And there was potentially two reasons why I didn't. Firstly, Y-Food. Yeah, I was in contract with them, and because I had to pull the videos, I was technically in breach of contract. I didn't even know how I was going to approach it, so I emailed them and said, how are we going to sort of come to some sort of agreement here? They were pretty understanding of the situation. And, I've been with them since, it's like 3 years later. So their long-term support on the channel, and this isn't a sponsored video by them, by the way, this is just how important they've been on my YouTube journey, and the fact I probably wouldn't be here today without them. So Y-Food is a huge thanks as to what's inside of this box. And the second thing was getting a little bit of clarification from my union. I did eventually get a letter from TfL basically saying no further action, but there was still, in my mind, this weird kind of anxiety hang over it. Even to this day, I don't know if I'm in the all clear with them, whether they look at my videos and think he's our number one target, or if they look at my videos and say, wow, he's doing great for the cab trade. I would love to have some kind of clarification on this. I'd probably bend over backwards and be TfL's gopher for promoting the taxi trade on YouTube, but I've had nothing. So that's something that I'll come on to a little bit later as well. Like, first and foremost, I'm a taxi driver. Uploading videos to YouTube could mean I lose my job. So what I did was that I had to alternate my videos a bit. I was on about 40,000 subscribers at the time, so I'd had pretty big growth in that just 1 year of doing YouTube. But all the subsequent videos I uploaded weren't the shift videos that people have been watching. And the comments were quite negative, saying that, don't want to watch this, your content's so boring now that you can't do shift videos. And it was so disheartening just having to upload or try and upload videos about the taxi trade, like my thoughts, my opinions, and it wasn't getting the traction like some of the other videos. But even though this killed my momentum, it really made me think much deeper about being a creator, and specifically the audience I was making videos for. Firstly, I started an email newsletter, and if you're not part of that, I'll leave the link in the description down below. And it made me realise there's no direct way of getting in contact with the audience. So I knew that I had to build practices like an email newsletter. So in the future, if such bad thing was to happen, I could still stay in touch with the audience. I felt like that was a noble thing to do as a creator, to not leave people in the dark. I went seriously in depth about the whole YouTube process. You know, how do I get people to engage with the content? How can I craft interesting narratives that would get people actually wanting to watch? How could I keep people engaged for longer? Maybe get them onto watching more videos. Really getting nitty gritty with the whole YouTube process. So I think that was my formalized education into understanding this medium. I've since kind of fallen in love with the style of actual YouTube videos where I create with some kind of education in mind. How could I create a curiosity gap that people would look at a title and thumbnail and think, oh, I want to watch that, I want to learn about that. And relatively boring-ish kind of topics as well. You know, one of the ones that done quite well for me eventually was the one about postcodes. Well, on the face of it, that sounds boring as hell, but it's how it's all packaged and the proposition that you give to the viewer once they start watching that of what they're going to learn as part of the video. Every upload is a learning experience, and you upload and it doesn't do as well as you hoped or not as good as the last video. It's the kind of constant creator dilemma. But when you try a new format and it works, there's no better feeling. And that was what I needed after that setback in 2021. Going from actively losing subscribers with every upload to people watching the content and going, oh, this is quite good. And then, you know, growth started to happen again. So my shift videos came back in 2022 once I had some kind of clarification of what I could and couldn't film within the taxi, but I've still kind of been anxious about them with every single upload. And to be honest, I don't really enjoy them that much. So that's the big update that I'm going to be sharing in this video, is that my most recent shift video, where I navigate many of the extensive road closures in my Pride shift, is my last ever shift video. It doesn't really appeal to me in the same way as it once did. I just think the format's run its course. Like, there's only so many times I can pen up Selfridges to Harrods. I feel like there's not any unique, compelling storytelling narratives that can come out of those videos. It's an incredibly laborious and specific editing process, which sort of I can only do because of the fact there's a lot of map shots that have to align with the dash camera on the street. So the majority of my YouTube videos are actually contracted out to an editor. For 2024, probably about 3/4 of the videos on my channel have been done by someone else. And thank goodness, because the editing quality is much higher. I feel like I'm able to present much deeper narratives and topics, and that gets communicated across much better. Because if it's left to me to edit, I just think, oh, this video's got to go out on Saturday, just need to get it done, get it out. Like, I wouldn't really put much special attention on it. And I feel like that's the way that some of the shift videos were going. Lastly, I think the shift videos kind of fetishizes the trade a bit. Like, you'd get the comments on there saying like, oh, great shift, mate, I bet you earned loads of money there. Or, how much money did you earn? What's the average turnover you got? And that's not my reason for putting them out. The exact reason I put them out is because I want to promote and share the level of knowledge and kind of expertise I put into my everyday driving. I was really trying to encapsulate the original aims of the channel, sharing the knowledge, promoting it to as many people as possible, and getting new customers and drivers within taxis. But I'm also still sleeping with one eye open with regards to these shift videos, because it's directly linked to my work in the taxi. I know that TfL could come along at any point and pull these videos. So there's this real kind of dichotomy at play, that it's too close to my actual everyday work, which I love, by the way. I would not change that. I love going to work in the taxi. I'm filming this now, but I can't wait to pack this all down and get out and go driving. And there's going to be lots of people in the comments who go, wow, that's your best video. Oh, I only watch the shift videos. Whatever. I don't care, because it doesn't really align with me. I don't want to succumb to that audience capture, and then also find it creates more problems and headaches for me in the future. Plenty of my colleagues do these kind of videos. You know, go look at Mark Monroe, Ollie, Shane. I can put all their links to them down below. I love it when they do it because it's all unique, different exposures from different taxi drivers. But for me, sadly, it's no more. So what does this play button actually mean? Well, let's open it up, shall we? There's a letter in here, and there it is. There is the silver play button. Let's try and work against the reflections. That is reflective, isn't it? Yeah, I honestly didn't think I'd get to this, really, because it's such a niche thing, and like there's people in the comments saying like, oh, over to 1 million, but I'm not really focusing on that. I mean, what does 100,000 subscribers get you? Not a lot, really. You get one of these plaques. You can verify your name on YouTube, but it's not like you then earn more. I mean, you certainly get more emails from people saying they can design you thumbnails and do editing for you. And it does feel kind of good to know that there is people that watch my content. It's so strange. A couple of months or so ago, my friend Aaron from a channel called Super Rider, he was in London and he physically got to collect his silver play button from YouTube head office. And I was so grateful that he actually invited me and a couple other friends with him to go and collect this play button. It was super strange because, you know, I was on probably like 95,000 or something at the time. I was kind of more in celebration and awe of his play button than my own. It felt like his was a deserved achievement. Like his was like the start of something big. And for me, it felt like I kind of crawled my way there, like as though I wasn't as deserving of it, right? It's a weird delusion, I know. And like in some ways, you know, getting to 100,000's kind of created more pressure than getting started. Getting started, I felt like I could be a lot more scrappier. People wouldn't really care, and there was less at stake because there's no one watching. Whereas now, it doesn't feel like that. It feels like I have to really create something of value. And that's why I've kind of not done these kind of classic YouTube audience-related stuff. I had some good comments on the Ask Me Anything video, and I'm thinking, well, at the end of the day, 100,000 subscribers, there's a lot of audience interaction there. And it made me think that I should make some more bonus content like this that just comes out alongside the actual content on Saturdays, my usual regular upload, but more behind the scenes because this is an audience thing going on here. You know, I'm talking to you right now, and obviously you watch the content, but you know, I'd love to get more feedback from you about what to make, and obviously the growth of this channel, which is what this video is about effectively. So in some ways I look at the 100,000 of like, okay, well, I've got to here, what can I do to grow bigger and better? You know, if you look at that metric of like, oh, 1 million or whatever, it creates a bit of a pressure and expectation that I've got to kind of change or switch up the format to grow bigger. And then I think, do I really want that? Like, I can create some crazy entertainment style Mr. Beast taxi driver around the world kind of stuff, and it might be fun to do that, but if I'm doing that with the intention of the views of the subscriber count, I think I might be missing the point. But I have definitely at times fallen into the trap of like, right, let's just make this bigger, let's get the numbers bigger, because that's what all the YouTube strategists say to do. Like, get more engagement, you know, make the viewer last longer, make them watch more of your videos, get the view numbers up, etc. Make it more of a business and have revenue and stuff. And there's all this kind of expectation on it, which I enjoy to a degree, but then am I just kind of missing the point? Probably the best or better source of inspiration would be someone like Jeff Marshall. You know, he is the YouTuber for trains, or YouTuber for the London Underground, whatever. Well, I can be that for the taxi trade. And then it's understanding that my videos aren't going to get millions and millions of views. It's going to be centric around London taxis. But so long as the message is clear, that's all good. But even he has spoke about the idea that he's quite long form within his content. And to a degree, a lot of these platforms are going quite short form. So where do you sit with that? You know, is a video that gets 100,000 views, but it's kind of loosely just an entertainment challenge of me driving a taxi, not really sharing any important message, better than a video that gets 50,000 views, so long as that video is centric around the core values and messaging of the London taxi trade? And this is what I grapple with. I think I get way more satisfaction communicating the challenges of being a London taxi driver and working in London, rather than fetishization of the job. So if that comes at less views, so be it. Sustainability, currently I have 2 full-time jobs, or 2 part-time jobs, however you look at it. From the hours of 10 in the morning till midnight, I am working. The morning hours into the afternoon, so 10 till 2 is kind of YouTube stuff, and in the afternoon into the evening, I'm actually driving the taxi. And I'd really like to make this more sustainable, because I'm constantly stressing about something related to this YouTube channel. It's a self-imposed stress. It's not like someone's pointing a gun to my head and saying, you've got to make content, Tom. It's like, I just feel this urge to do it, that I have to do it. I have to get something out. And of course, there is, rewards to it in terms of views and partnerships and future collaborations and monetary rewards, etc. So you could say, oh, woe is me. But then I realise I get to do this. When I was grafting away on the knowledge, I was working full time, having my hours controlled by a boss, having to go work at weekends and having to book time off and maybe not having enough money to do whatever I wanted to do in life. And now I have full autonomy and freedom over my time. Yes, I've still got to go to work, but largely I get to do this. I get to do what I want. I get to wake up, make a video about whatever. I get to just roll into my cab, drive into town when I want, work till whenever. No, I do graft. This is the thing. It's not like you just get paid for doing nothing. You do have to put the hours in. I enjoy it. I love it. I get to do this. So I think it's remembering that this is the scenario I've created for myself, and that, me 7, 8, 10 years ago would be so envious of this situation. Even this YouTube thing, like, so many people put something out there and, they would love to be able to get to this kind of like level and that. And I still feel like I'm like this big, right, on YouTube. Like I'm just putting videos out and it just doesn't land. It's super strange. And going full time. Well, in a few months, my taxi is going to be paid off. So the transition to go to full time will be pretty easy. I'm quite close to be able to go full time at the moment, but the issue is that my taxi is dreadfully expensive. I've made a video about my expenses. I'll leave that over there. And it is tempting for the flex to say full-time YouTuber or going full in and giving it a full stab. But do you know the reason why I probably won't go full-time? I enjoy the job too much. It just seems so weird to think that I've got this platform on YouTube that's got potentially infinite growth potential that I get paid to do, but I still enjoy going out and grafting in the cab. I don't know whether that's kind of hardwired into me, that just physical graft, i.e. hours in equals money out, whereas in theory, I guess to a degree, sitting at this desk is more profitable than me going out in the taxi, or it could be in the long run, right? But I just enjoy driving into London. Like right now, I am itching to get this video done so I can go to work, right? To unwind my window, feel the wind rushing through, the sun, having the music playing, having the hand go up, and that hail, and then the feeling of that, and then communicating and conversing with that passenger, and then dropping them off, and then listen to some music, and listen to a podcast, and then stopping down at the cafe and grabbing something to eat, and seeing another driver. There's just so much life to that. And maybe it's the David Goggins approach as well, the kind of whole never finished thing, where he is pretty well achieved, well accomplished, but he can't just put his feet up and just, do the speaking tours and engagements. He's still got to be out there grafting in the trenches, because that's his shtick, that's his thing. He is the hard guy, right? And, I am the taxi driver, but I also enjoy it. And it's even like with this channel, whenever I've had extensive editing to do, editing is really difficult to me. I find it quite time consuming, mind numbing, whatever. If I have that and there's a deadline imposed, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go ignore all this responsibility and go out and drive in my taxi. Fundamentally, I wanted to share a bit of insight about what goes on behind the scenes on this YouTube channel, because without you guys watching these videos, I wouldn't be holding this right now. So thank you very much for that. I would love to know your thoughts, comments on the direction of this channel. If you've not already subscribed to my email newsletter, then I'd highly recommend that, because I share these kind of updates on a weekly basis anyway. Thanks a lot, and I'll see you on the next one.